Alexandria, Egypt, 415 CE. The streets are unusually crowded. A respected scholar rides through the city in her chariot, just as she has done countless times before. People know her face, some admire her, some seek her advice. Others have traveled hundreds of miles just to hear her speak. But today something is different. This crowd isn't waiting for a lecture. They're waiting for her. Within the next few moments, one of the greatest minds of the ancient world will be dragged from her chariot and brutally murdered. Not because she was a criminal, not because she started a war, but because she became caught in a dangerous political struggle. Her name was Hypatia of Alexandria, and this is her story. Imagine becoming one of the world's most respected scientists at a time when almost every famous scholar was a man. That was Hypatia. She was born in Alexandria sometime during the 4th century to a renowned mathematician and astronomer named Theon. Unlike most girls of her time, Hypatia received an extraordinary education. Her father believed that knowledge should never be limited by gender, so he taught her mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, rhetoric, and logic. But Hypatia wasn't just a talented student. She became even greater than her teacher. As she grew older, she became one of Alexandria's most respected philosophers and mathematicians. Students traveled from across the Roman Empire just to attend her lectures. She had an incredible gift for making difficult ideas simple. Whether she was explaining geometry, astronomy, or philosophy, people listened. And she didn't only teach inside classrooms. She often stood in public squares, answering questions from anyone who wanted to learn. Imagine walking through your city and finding one of the world's smartest people casually explaining how the universe works. That was everyday life in Alexandria. Her reputation spread far beyond Egypt. Government officials sought her advice. Scholars respected her opinions. Former students became governors, bishops, and philosophers, yet many still wrote letters asking for her guidance years later. Hypatia also worked on preserving ancient scientific knowledge. She edited mathematical texts, improved calculations, and helped build scientific instruments like astrolabes, which were used to study the stars. Although many of her own writings have been lost to history, her work helped preserve knowledge that might otherwise have disappeared forever. Life seemed to be going perfectly. But outside the lecture halls, Alexandria was becoming increasingly unstable. The city was one of the largest and most important in the Roman Empire. It was home to Greeks, Egyptians, Romans, Jews, and Christians, different cultures, different religions, different political beliefs. For centuries they had lived together, but now tensions were rising. Arguments became protests, protests became riots, and politics became more dangerous than ever. At the center of the conflict were two powerful men, Orestes, the governor of Alexandria, and Cyril, the city's influential bishop. Both wanted greater authority over the city. As disagreements between them grew, rumors began to spread. Because Hypatia was respected by the governor and often advised him, some people claimed she was preventing the two leaders from reaching peace. There was never any convincing evidence for these accusations, but history has shown us something time and time again. When fear spreads, facts often become the first casualty. In March of 415 CE, tragedy struck. As Hypatia traveled through the streets of Alexandria, a group of extremists stopped her chariot. She was dragged away by the mob. She was murdered with shocking brutality. Her body was later burned outside the city. News of her death spread across the Roman world. People weren't simply mourning a teacher. They were mourning one of the greatest intellectuals of their generation. Ironically, the people responsible for her death achieved the exact opposite of what they wanted. Instead of erasing her legacy, they made her unforgettable. More than 1,600 years later, Hypatia is remembered as a symbol of curiosity, education, and the pursuit of knowledge. Historians still debate certain details of her life. Some stories have been exaggerated, others have been lost forever. But one truth remains clear. Hypatia dedicated her life to asking questions, sharing knowledge, and encouraging others to think for themselves. And perhaps that's why her story still matters today. Because civilizations rise and fall, empires disappear, libraries burn, but ideas have a remarkable way of surviving.